Hello everybody, this is Rodrigo from Learn English Fast and welcome to this English class, which is going to be an advanced vocabulary lesson. You know, it's currently a pandemic period around the world, so what could be better than taking the chance to learn some English words? If you want to learn expressions that you can use in everyday conversation, then you need to learn binomial pairs because this is very practical and will definitely help you with Toefl, Cambridge and Ielts certifications. And just to remind you, if you're looking forward to receiving a full scholarship to study in an English-speaking country, then you either need a B2 or C1 grade at international certifications, which basically means 100 points in Toefl IBT, around 6.5 in Ielts, or at least a Cambridge first certificate. But before starting, if you haven't subscribed on my channel yet, please leave your like and click on the button below so that you can follow all my grammar and vocabulary classes next time, alright? So, what is a binomial pair? It's basically a pair of words conventionally linked by either a conjunction or a preposition. In other words, it's an idiom. It's an expression for daily usage. So, let's have a quick look. So, the first binomial pair is aches and pains, which basically means a minor pain or discomfort, typically in your muscles, In other words, it's not a severe pain, but it's kind of chronic, so you feel it every day, For example, in the past I had aches and pains and sometimes I didn't eat very well and it was kind of hard for me to go to school, focus and study, alright? That's a good example. Second one, all or nothing, which basically means having no middle position or compromise available. It could mean like to do something completely or not to do it at all. You really like something or really hate something. For example, I have a great friend. Her name is Gislaine and she either hates you or she loves you. It's all or nothing with her, alright? It's no midterm, okay? Excellent. So next expression is back and forth. Basically, that means between two places or persons, as we can see in the drawing, alright? So first, you move in one direction, and then the opposite one. For example, I returned to Italy to visit my relatives and stayed visiting for 2 months, moving back and forth from Milan to Rome. Milan again, back to Rome again. So back and forth, alright? The other example is back and call, which basically means always willing and able to do whatever somebody asks you, alright? For example, back, in this case, just to explain to you, is a short for beckon, which means moving your head, hands or finger, like this, It's signaling to you, when you give a command or a request, for example, boss to an employee, like, So, and call means to summon somebody. For example, you can go and get it yourself. I'm not your beck and call, you know that. That's a great example, That's what a sister would tell her brother, right? So go and get yourself, I'm not your beck and call, you know it? So, alright, let's move on. So, the next expression, bread and butter. That's basically a job or activity that provides you with the money you need to live, to survive. So in other words, it's how you make ends meet. So currently teaching is my bread and butter, but in the past I used to play the piano for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. That used to be my bread and butter, alright? Next expression, blood and guts, which basically means extreme violence. So it's remarkable for brutality or fierceness, For example, I watched a movie recently and there was too much blood and guts in that movie for my like, So I'm not keen on too much violence, Next example, bubble and squeak. So that's a dish made by mixing together cooked potato and cabbage, you know. I think that's very popular in the UK, and it's a great way of using leftover mash, sprouts, and cabbage. So I actually feel like having some bubble quick right now, but I can't because I'm recording this video. So later on, alright? And cease and desist. It's an aggressive tone document sent to an individual or business to interrupt an unlawful activity, which means to cease, and not take it up again later, which means to desist. So in other words, this document may warn you that you can be sued if you don't cease a specific conduct, you know? So let's see more words. Now, checks and balances. It's basically a regulation to ensure that all political power is not concentrated in the hands of individuals or groups. So, for example, the system of checks and balances is crucial in a democracy. Okay? That's how you use it. Next one, cloak and dagger. That's clandestine or secretive. So basically, it's a synonym of undercover, you know? I can give an example, like I'm so tired of all these cloak and dagger meetings. So let's discuss those issues openly, alright? Next one, cut and dry. So there are two different meanings here. The first one is something that's already decided and unlikely to be changed. So very little chance to be changed. For example, we need a cut and dry decision by the end of the week. Right? That's an example. And the second way of using it is like very simple and easy to understand. For example, most investigators are pretty out and dry, but this one that has come to my house has left more questions than answers. You know, it confused me. All right. And now, dollar for dollar. That basically means comparing cost benefit. For example, I can say like, I believe you find that dollar for dollar, this house is the better choice. Okay. So when you compare the cost benefit, that's the best choice we have, okay? That's this house. And another example I can give you, for example, if I want to buy a car, I can say to you like dollar for dollar, you cannot buy a better car, okay? Again, when you're comparing cost benefits, this is the best car you can get. Because you don't have enough money to buy a Ferrari, so that's the car you can get, alright? Great, let's see other words. So, do's and don'ts, that's basically what you must do as well as what you shouldn't do. So, they are recommended or they are common practice, okay? Like in Brazil, there are a few do's and don'ts when it comes to cooking cassava, alright? Let's see the other one, fair and square. Basically means honestly and straightforwardly, okay? For example, we won the match fair and square. Another example, my friend Marisa won the election fair and square, so now she is the new president. Yes, great example, isn't it? Next, fast and loose. So that basically means to ignore proper behavior or social conventions, especially when it suits one's purpose, alright? So like many movie makers, he plays fast and loose with the facts to tell his own version of the story. I can give you even another example, like we must not play fast and loose with confidence in the dollar or in the euro or in any currency. Okay? Great, next one, fire and brimstone. So you can see brimstone like in the picture over there. So that basically means, used to mean the threat of hell after death, after die. So brimstone, let's just explain to you, is a yellow chemical element which has a terribly strong smell. And how do you use it in a sentence? Like, the preacher's sermon was full of fire and brimstone. So in other words, if you do something wrong, you will go to hell after you die. Alright? So let's see some more. So let's move to flesh and blood. There are two different meanings for that. The first one basically means people, like it's used to emphasize the quality all people have. For example, the decision here is about flesh and blood, about boys and girls who deserve a better education or a good educational system, alright? And the second meaning is someone from your family. For example, I was so surprised how much Ford cared for this boy, even though he wasn't my flesh and blood, right? Great. So, let's see the other one. Hum and haw. Well, in American English, they don't say hum, they say ham with an E. But hum and haw, let me explain first. Like hum means that very low sound you do with your voice when you have doubts, like you know? So you are in two minds about something. You haven't made up your mind yet. So you know? So you're taking a long time deciding something, okay? Again, as I said, you are in two minds about something. For example, I hummed and hawed for months before actually deciding to buy this apartment or this flat, alright? Let's see the next one. High and dry. You know, it basically means in a difficult position, especially without any resources. For example, they put out of the deal at the last minute, leaving me high and dry. So they left me in trouble, in a real fix. That's what happened, alright? Next one, leaps and bounds. That basically means rapidly or in a fast progress, okay? So this is kind of redundant because leaps and bounds, they basically means the same thing, which is to jump. But I give you an example, like the corn is growing by leaps and bounds, as you can see in the picture, you know? So the corn is growing very rapidly. We have very fast progress. So great crop this year, alright? Let's move on. Now, null and void, which basically means having no legal force. As an example, like the election was declared null and void. So it wasn't valid, alright? Next, binomial, part and parcel. That's basically an essential piece that must be part of something else. For example, the possibility of making mistakes is part and parcel of learning English or of learning any other language, alright? I can even give you another easier one, which is basically television has become a part and parcel of our daily lives, alright? So let's see the next one, which is rough and ready. Again, rough and ready. That basically means crude but effective, and it's usually done in a hurry. So, for example, I know a rough and ready solution for the problem, okay? Or that was a rough and ready estimating method, okay? So rough and ready, basically, it's done in a hurry, it's effective, but probably not permanent. It's more kind of temporary, alright? Now, a very common expression that we use on a daily basis is called safe and sound. Again, safe and sound, which basically means you're healthy, in good condition. And it usually used in the end of a trip. For example, after 3 days lost in the mountains, all the climbers arrived home safe and sound. Or we arrived from Dubai safe and sound, as you can see in the picture. So there's an airplane, the airplane landed safe and sound. So we're all alive. Okay? Great. So the next binomial is short and sweet, which basically means surprisingly short in a way that's pleasing. For example, this morning's meeting was short and sweet. That's the kind of meeting that I like. And my honeymoon trip to Paris was short and sweet. So even though it was very short, I had a lovely time in Paris. I loved it, alright? So, next one. Slap and tickle. That's basically a sexual activity, especially when it involves playing or joking. For example, I think there is a bit of slap and tickle going on in the back of the car over there. So, do you guys remember of Jack and Rosie from the Titanic movie? So, I got that picture from that scene. Nobody can forget that scene, right? Great. Next binomial. Sooner or later. Basically means you do not know exactly when something will happen, but you're certain that it will happen. For example, sooner or later, your wife will figure out that you have been cheating on her for so many years. That's gonna be a problem, and you're going to be in a fix. Okay? And next one, speak and span. Basically, that means very clean, very neat, very tidy. So my office is never speak and span, and I don't know, probably your house is always speak and span, but not mine. Sorry, guys. Let's continue. So the next binomial is thick and thin, which is difficult to pronounce, isn't it? So the first meaning is if you support to stay with somebody through thick and thin, you always support to stay with them, even if their problems or difficulties. For example, Mary is stuck with me through thick and thin, alright? And the second meaning is in good times and in bad times. For example, in the company I work for, even though there have been many difficulties, many problems, many ups and downs, I will stand by my boss through thick and thin. Okay? I'm a very loyal, reliable employee. Alright? So, next expression, time and again. Very commonly used, so on very many occasions or repeatedly. Okay? For example, Unicamp students were recommended time and again of the importance of studying really hard if they ever want to get a full scholarship to study in America, alright? Great. So, next expression. This binomial pair is called tooth and nail. That basically means to give full support or to try very hard to get something you want. For example, let's get something currently, like some Americans fought tooth and nail to support Donald Trump during this COVID-19 pandemic. Alright? That's very current. And ups and downs, that basically means to experience a mixture of good and bad things. For example, the ups and downs of my job are far from finished, you know, or there have been some ups and downs in my relationship, but I still love her, okay? So, we've just finished learning 32 new pairs of binomials, and I'm so glad you've been with me all this time, so thank you very much. I have to say thanks to the University of Cambridge, University of Oxford, University of Harvard, because they have plenty of material for free, so we can consult with them all the time, you know, the Lingui website, so there are many sources of great material. And I have to tell you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please make sure you click on the link below, invite all of your friends to be part of our team, because every week I post new material on vocabulary, grammar, writing tips, you know, speaking tips, and I love what I do. That's how I make ends meet, and I just love it. So thank you so much all this time. Thanks for your patience, and cheers. Have a great day. Bye-bye.